Flood watches across Florida from a tropical disturbance on today's Tropical Weather Bulletin. And now the latest around the wide world of tropics. Tropical Weather Bulletin for June 12th. So we've still got no active tropical cyclones, but there are a few rumblings that are getting gradually louder in the Western Hemisphere, mainly the Atlantic, but also into the Eastern Pacific. So we've got a few areas of interest that we're looking at right now. In fact, there are three. And let's take a closer look at that zone now. On day 12 of Atlantic hurricane season, we're giving a 30% chance for the Invest 90L, which is moving through Florida right now. The center is somewhere east of Tampa, we think, or possibly a bit further north. Moving northeastwards and will continue to develop further out to sea. And in the Eastern Pacific, we've got a 20% chance there on day 29 of hurricane season that will be lingering along the coast of Mexico and could eventually end up in the Bay of Campeche if it's not the other system further east there that could form near the Caribbean later on, the southern Caribbean next week. Very confusing. In the Western Pacific, there's really nothing going on here, but there's quite a bit of general thunderstorm activity all across the Philippines there and into southern China, Taiwan, and on towards Japan. But nothing in terms of a tropical development. In the North Indian Ocean, again, we've got monsoonal storms affecting the east coast of India primarily, and up towards the coast of Bangladesh and Myanmar. West coast of India also getting a little bit of storminess here and there. And in the southern hemisphere, there's really nothing to look at, so we're just looking once again at the southwest Indian Ocean, where there's a few little storms going on there, but really nothing to talk about in terms of any tropical developments, obviously. So let's check in with this prominent AOI then, area of interest, this Invest 90L. It's currently around 19 kilometers from Lakeland, Florida, 33 from Tampa, 58 from St. Petersburg, 98 from Orlando, and 138 from Deltona. It's moving relatively quickly, moving around east-northeasterly at about 17 miles per hour, so it'll really be taking along those distances quite quickly there. Recent imagery that has been uncovered after we first put out our position fix suggests that it might be a little bit further north than what we're indicating here, but it doesn't make much difference. It is moving in the same direction, northeast. And here it is on satellite imagery, and you'll note there that there really isn't very much going on near the projected center of this system. Even if it does have a center, I mean, it may not do. It's just a general idea of where the area is, the pressure center of this system, around 1009 millibars. Wind speeds around it maybe 30 miles per hour right now, and you can see clearly there's thunderstorms along the eastern side of this system mainly at the moment, but modelling suggests that there will be more rainfall building up behind that in maybe some of those other clouds that are just about to move towards the shore throughout the course of today. And that's why we're looking at flood watches for large parts of western Florida and all of southern Florida throughout the course of today and into tomorrow as well. That has been issued from the National Weather Service. So certainly the potential that some of these showers could be prolonged thunderstorms and could deliver some flooding rainfall with totals possibly getting above 5 inches. The radar shows that possible center that was just moving inland there north of Tampa towards the Clearwater area. Not sure if that would have been an actual bona fide center or not, but interesting to see that on the radar. This is a wide shot of the eastern United States and a big front extending from that system all the way up towards Canada, and this is the Caribbean Sea with a few areas that are blowing up over there, but not too much to look at right now. And this is the coast of Africa in the eastern Atlantic, where you can see a disturbance there moving along the intertropical convergence zone westwards. This is the Eastern Pacific zone where there's a lot of thunderstorms going on, but really very disorganized region right now, but certainly a lot of rainfall on tap for that Central American region. The Philippine zone there's quite a lot of storms blowing up in the western Philippine Islands right now, and some parts of the eastern region too. And this is the Bay of Bengal, showing that monsoonal activity pushing into eastern India as well, the Odisha region and Andhra Pradesh. This is the Arabian Sea, a few little areas there as well blowing up off the west coast of India as well. and these are the shear maps. You can take a look at all these graphics on the Force 13 website, force13.com/satellite. Wind shear still high around the Invest right now, but relatively low in the Caribbean there, and also low along the coast of Mexico where that other area is. So I think the biggest threat to that system will be land interaction, and it is going to be a significant threat at that, and just how disorganized the whole thing is as well. This is the Western Pacific, the really strong jet stream up there, but further south, wind shear is looking relatively low actually in the Philippine Sea particularly right now. Sea surface temperatures generally creeping up along the coast of Mexico, temperatures pushing 32 degrees in one or two spots off the coast of Oaxaca. In the Atlantic, temperatures still looking good there as well, and really extending far out into the Atlantic Ocean now, and the Gulf Stream really blowing up there as well. The Gulf of Mexico, high temperatures over 30 degrees Celsius along the southern coast of Florida as well. The Western Pacific, really warm waters there too in the Philippine Sea, extending from the Philippines towards the Mariana Islands, and in the South China Sea, very warm there as well. Further north, it's still got a bit of catching up to do, but it is getting there. North Indian Ocean showing two areas there of very warm sea surface temperatures. The Arabian Sea has it best, but really all areas are looking good with minimums of 28 degrees Celsius and most areas quite a bit higher than that. Southwest Indian Ocean, for what it's worth, we're still looking at the southern hemisphere basins at this time. Really not much going on there. Sea surface temperatures decreasing in general away from Mauritius. Australian region, hardly any zones now at 26 degrees Celsius anymore, as you would expect for the time of year. A few warm spots there still northwest of Darwin. And in the South Pacific, temperatures decrease around the eastern islands of Fiji now, just about to drop below that 26 degree isotherm by the looks of things. So let's take a look at the anomalies compared to average, and you can see just a massive ridge of warm waters compared to normal in the North Atlantic, up to 4 degrees above average there in a few spots. The Gulf of Mexico up to about 3 degrees above average in a few spots. Eastern Pacific is still hot and cold, but still mostly warm on there, and in the Western Pacific is generally a little bit above average, maybe 2 degrees on average. So certainly warm and a recipe for substantial development. Interestingly, the ocean heat content is dropping in the Eastern Pacific. I'm not sure why, but there it is right now. We were seeing oranges there last week, but now it's down to just greens and yellows. Western Pacific, though, really packed out with those reds there. Rapid intensification likely in any of those areas. The Atlantic also looking good for a significant part of the Caribbean Sea, especially southwest of Puerto Rico, extending through Jamaica and on towards western Cuba and into the loop current of the Gulf of Mexico. So let's check the computer models then, the GFS for the next 5 days. You can take a look at possible systems there, circulation off the coast of Mexico and the Pacific part there, and then that develops into a tropical storm making landfall, doing a little loop around. I'm really not sure what's going on with that. Off the coast of Florida, you can see that system as well, Invest 90L, getting its legs a little bit there. Looks like it struggles to become a tropical cyclone. The Euro model actually has it becoming a much better organized system than the GFS, which is quite rare to see. Looking at rainfall expectations over the next 7 days, you can see over Florida there, maybe 4 inches initially, and then some more rain following later on. But take a look at Central America towards the end of that 7-day period as that system moves in. We're looking at extremely high rainfall expectations now, at least according to the GFS model, with widespread areas of over 25 inches of rain. That is over 600 millimeters, so extremely high amounts there, which could cause very dangerous flash flooding conditions. Parts of the US Gulf Coast there as well, getting up to 8 inches near Houston. And in the medium range, this is day 5 to 10. You can see a development there in the Bay of Campeche from that Eastern Pacific system, which becomes a tropical storm, moves into Mexico. And then we've got the Southern Caribbean, which starts up and becomes a borderline hurricane strength system, moving through Pinar del Rio, Cuba, and then into the Eastern Gulf of Mexico, and strengthening as it does so. So could that be an early season surprise right there? Well, that looks really fascinating, and that is within 10 days. Interesting, keep watching that one. Scan the barcode and that will take you through to the Force 13 merch store, where you can take a look at all of our items as well as our full season and individual storm animations on request. And our Still Waiting for Hone t-shirt is still waiting for you. Hone, we're still waiting for that damn storm as well. Well, in the Scilly Range, day 10 to 16, you can see that hurricane making landfall in Florida, not far from Panama City by the looks of things, and then moving inland and then moving northeastwards out into the North Atlantic later on. After that, I think is there anything else? I don't think there is. Possibly another Eastern Pacific system, actually, a brief development there, but that is in the very long range, and so we'll have to wait and see where that happens, but it could be the sign here that June is about to crank up in the Western Atlantic. In the Western Pacific as well, the GFS is still showing signs of a very late development here of a Western Pacific typhoon right near the end of the Scilly Range here, so really can't say too much about this, but there it is popping up into a typhoon, and it really would have a decent chance of rapid strengthening there as it passes Guam towards the end of that loop. So that's really looking towards the 26th, 27th of June, which obviously is still quite a way off. So I wouldn't be losing much sleep over that one yet, but there it is, becoming a significant typhoon. So what happened on this day? Well, we're going back to 1974. On June 12th, we had two Category 1 hurricane equivalent storms active. We had Hurricane Connie in the Eastern Pacific, which was about to peak as a Category 2, I think it was. And we had Typhoon Dina, which was at its peak at 80 miles per hour and about to make landfall on Hainan Island. We also had Tropical Depression 7W, which would eventually develop into the next storm, which I forget what the name would have been now. But there is the picture on this day 50 years ago. Also 2 years ago, we had a much weaker storm making landfall on Hainan, Tropical Storm Koguma. 3 years ago, I should say, that was in 2021. Well, back to today then, in the Atlantic. The first name, of course, is still Alberto. Could it be about to appear soon? In the Eastern Pacific, it's Aletta, and in the Central Pacific, it is still Hone. We are still stuck at just 20 storms so far this year, which is a little on the low side. In terms of accumulated cyclone energy, we're about 35% below normal now. In the Western Pacific, the next name is Gaimi, and in the North Indian Ocean, it will be Asna. In the Southern Hemisphere, in the Southwest Indian Ocean, there'll be a new naming list in July, so if it happens before then, it will be Jeremy. In the Australian region, the next name is Robin, and in the South Pacific, it will be Pitta. Well, that's it from today's Tropical Weather Bulletin. We have a stream running right now where you can track the storms live, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Become an Ultimate Fan today.